Hey everyone, welcome back to another portfolio update video on the channel. Check it out, guys. The portfolio is at $8,579.91. For the day, we're down $24.30 or 0.28%. For the week, get ready for this. Up $326.72 or 3.96%. Another crazy week, and there's just so much to talk about in this video, but we'll just get there. You'll see the all-time chart in a second is kind of crazy. For the month, we are up $600.72 or 7.53%. For the 3 months, we are up $414.27 or 5.07%. And for the year-to-date, aka the all-time, look at that, up $516.24 or 6.4%. We've broken into a new all-time high, and we've actually over doubled our previous all-time high in the span of just 1 week, which is, I don't have words. It's actually just insane. You can see our previous absolute all-time high was all the way back in July 31st of this year. Our all-time high was $249.34, which was 3.09%. And here we are. We absolutely smashed that this week. Now we're up all-time $516.25, which is 6.4%, which is crazy. Because if you really look at that, I put in $8,063, and I could sell everything and withdraw, coming out with over $500 more than what I started with, which is just such a weird. It's just so crazy to look at. I don't know. It's such a weird thing to describe. I just feel like my entire investing career has been really kind of rocky because I was always kind of doing stupid stuff, but now I feel like I'm really taking it conservatively with how I'm investing, and I feel like it's really paying off. And of course, we're just seeing a huge rally, so of course it's going to seem like that, but I'm just very happy with my progress. I feel like I'm learning, and I'm just happy with where I'm at right now. So let's go through absolutely everything in the portfolio, starting it off with the options. So I currently have everything set to equity as to not reveal anything yet. But if we go to total return on the options, you can see we are flat on this SOFI $12 call, which expires this Friday. We are up $4 or 57% on this SOFI 650 put, which expires the 29th of December. And we are up $1 or 33% on this SOFI $6 put, which expires the first week of January of next year. So yeah, let's dive into these real quick. And currently these are priced at $3, $3, and $2, meaning that we are still owed $8 in short-term options here through Theta. So we're going to just keep letting these decay, and we'll make the rest of that money. I recently opened this guy up because SOFI has been absolutely ripping, and we'll get down there in a second. You can see my equity on SOFI is now over $1,000, and the reason for that is because the price has literally just mooned for some reason, kind of moonshotted, and so that's actually raised my equity, not because I've invested more, but just because the price of the actual underlying is increased by so much. So we'll get down to that in a second. To the cryptos, we are currently down on Ethereum 5%, up 12% on Avalanche, which is $1.07, and we are down 42 cents on Bitcoin. Guys, let me jump into my crypto real quick. We had kind of a fiasco this week. I'll tell you about it. But basically, as you know, I invested in crypto just because I get bored on the weekends because I can't watch my account fluctuate. I really like when the market's open and I can kind of check and manage positions. So I get really bored. So I was like, okay, why not just dump some money to crypto? And I was watching Avalanche just absolutely rocket last week up to here. So I was like, hey, why not just put in some more money? So I put in $100 into Avalanche conveniently right here, and I'm literally not joking. In fact, let me pull this up. It's actually so ridiculous. You can see December 11th at 10 p.m. Or was that December 11th? Yeah, December 11th at 10 p.m. And dude, literally look at it. This is literally the peak of Avalanche. It feels so funny because I feel like I always time the exact top and bottoms in buying and selling stuff, and this is a perfect example of that. Literally bought Avalanche at its peak. I put $100 in right here, and as you can see, it's sunk all the way down to $34 per coin. So at one point this week on crypto, we were down quite a bit. If I look at that here, you can see we were down about $21 on a $100 investment, which is so crazy. And this is kind of just a good example of why you don't really want to invest in crypto unless you really know what you're doing. Because, I got wiped $21. I held on to it because I didn't really care. Obviously, $21 is kind of a significant dent in our overall portfolio, but it's not at a point where I really am bothered by it, so I just held on and just let it ride. And then today I woke up to us being up on the all-time for crypto because Avalanche has gone up a ton today. So I sold out of my position, I closed it out, and now we only have $10 in each once again like we had before. But we're up 15% on $30, so that's nice. But yeah, once we're not doing that again, but I just thought that was funny to go over. But we were actually to come out with a gain on that, surprisingly. Moving on down though. Now we got the actual stock positions. This is where things really went crazy this week. Let's start with SPLG. Let's see, for the week, I mean, SPLG is up $1.24 for the week, and we've owned, 150 shares throughout this entire short-term bull market rally we've experienced over the past, months or so. Like from here all the way up to here, we've owned 100 shares throughout this entire period. So we were able to capture this entire gain. I had no covered call open. As you guys know, I closed out that 54 strike covered call a couple weeks back at a loss of $30, and I'm very glad I did, because if I had not done that, I would have missed out on $140 of capital gains. So really not looking to sell a call on this anytime soon with how it's performing and how the overall market looks. But once again, up $124 on this, not to mention I have an additional 50 shares, so probably up around $175 or so on this, $180 for the week on the S&P 500 holdings. And you can see our total gain on this is over $700 now, which once again is just baffling to look at. Because literally that means we put in like $7,700 and we're coming out with $8,400. Once again, this is the S&P 500 too, so this performance is crazy. This is like the average return over the span of 1 year, and we already have that on our holdings. So we're up over $700 on this position. And then the big one, the huge one, is SOFI. This one is really catching my attention. And if you guys remember, and just to fill anyone who's new to this position in on this, we bought 100 shares of this at $6.75 per share just a couple weeks ago, I think the week of Thanksgiving. And I can actually show you that because our cost basis on here says $7.12, but that is because of an assignment on a put credit spread, so it's inaccurate. So I'm gonna have to show you guys the actual cost basis here, which I can find real fast, hopefully. Here it is. So you can see we bought 100 shares of SOFI at $6.75, and that was on November 20th. So now, with that in mind, November 20th, let's go take a peek at the chart here. And of course, it's not going to let me do that easily. So that was November 20th. Let's see. All right, literally, I mean, that's just so insane. Once again, I told you I only buy tops and bottoms, which is really ironic because the same thing has happened here with SOFI. You can see I bought the exact bottom on this stock, like literally on the 3-month chart, the exact bottom I bought, and then we had this absolute moonshot all the way up to 930 where we're sitting at right now. You can see at one point we even hit 976, and you can imagine my portfolio was absolutely booming when this happened, and I'll go over that in a second. But yeah, so we bought this at $6.75 on the exact bottom, and it's currently sitting at $932. So we're up, let's see, like $260. Once again, inaccurate here. We're up about $260 on these shares. In fact, even more because we have an odd lot with an extra 8 shares. So absolutely crazy considering how small of a position this is. Not to mention this is a margin position. So I opened this position on margin, meaning it essentially cost me nothing to open this. And it was using the free $1,000 of margin, so it really cost me literally nothing to open this. And we were able to make over $250 off of this play for tying up basically none of our capital. Not to mention I've been selling calls and puts and making even more money on top of that. So this is really a crazy play, and I'm going to keep holding it, guys, because we have earnings coming up in, I believe it's late January, where they're set to announce GAAP profitability. The last time their earnings really showed good signs of that, you can see it hopped up all the way over 11, almost to 1150 on the share price. So if they actually are able to announce profitability in this coming quarter, you can imagine how high this stock price could possibly go. Now, it could already be priced in. Even if it's already priced in, guys, and it's not going to move anywhere, even if it goes down to 8, I have zero problems with that because I've already made so much money on gains that it could go down to 8 today, and I would be fine if it just sat at 8. Because I'm going to keep selling puts and calls and making money. So even if the price doesn't go up, I'll be making money on the options. But I do feel confident that the price will continue to rise going into earnings. And then hopefully as a result of earnings, we'll get a nice spike like this, because this almost feels like a Palantir situation, guys. If you remember, Palantir is kind of similar to this. If we go really far back, so they used to trade around the 6 and 7s for a long time, and I actually had 100 shares at one point. If you're a long time viewer, when I had the TD Ameritrade account, I had 100 shares at around the $6 price. Unfortunately, I sold. That would be worth an additional 1.2 grand today if I had not sold. But it had a similar story because it also announced profitability. I believe it was somewhere in this area, and it's done nothing but literally just go up since. It was unprofitable for the longest time. It was sitting around the $6 mark, and then they announced profitability, and they've been profitable everywhere since then. And I mean, it's been nothing but bullishness on the stock. I think we'll have something similar with SoFi. Because it just feels like a very similar story, and I actually like SoFi's situation even better than Palantir's. And also, Morningstar has a 14.50 price target, which is crazy because that's another $5.50 on the current share price. But I'm just very happy that I own these 100 shares, especially at the cost basis I own them at, because it's a lot lower than most people own these shares at, or people that might be buying it today, obviously. But yeah, so the shares are looking incredible, and I think they'll continue to do incredible. A lot of people are saying this recent spike is the result of a short squeeze because there was a lot of short interest on SoFi that has since, I'm guessing, been dumped as a result of this recent rally, pushing shorts out of the market, requiring them to buy back their shorts, which pushes the price even higher, which I agree with. I think it could be a short squeeze situation, just this part here. So we may see a fall back a little bit on the price or something like that, but that does explain that, because there wasn't really much news that triggered this from my understanding. There was news about the CEO and ARK Investments throughout here, but this little spike here seemed to be out of nowhere. Even the options chain didn't price this in, so I think it might have been a short squeeze type of situation. So we'll see what we do over the course of the next week. But let's move on to the options with SoFi, because my cover calls keep running away from me, unfortunately, with SoFi. So I did have to close out a SoFi 950 strike call. You can see that SoFi didn't end up hitting 950 by expiry, but I mean, it was in the money, or it would have been in the money throughout the early morning hours and then the previous days. So I ended up closing that out for a $10 loss, but of course the share price made me so many gains it doesn't even matter. Then from there I opened a 1050 covered call for that same Friday, and I literally had this trade open for 1 day, made a quick buck because I opened it for 2, and then I closed that trade out and I opened this most recent $12 strike call for next Friday, because I mean, this is an insane deal, guys. $12 strike paying me $3 for next Friday. I mean, it's a 5-day till expiration call option that I'm able to sell for like 33% or 0.33% gain on my shares. And if it hits 12 somehow, which would be just unbelievable, then I'd be happy to take a loss on this call. So great stuff there. But I did have to take that small loss. But overall, guys, sorry I've been kind of rambling. I kind of just end up talking for a long time in these videos, but things are looking up. Things are looking really good. Things are looking much, much better than they used to look. If you guys remember this video I recorded right here, it was a rough one. It was definitely a rough one. This was a Friday, so this exact low point in the portfolio was a video that I made, a portfolio update. But look where we are now, new all-time highs, double our previous all-time highs. Hopefully we keep moving higher, but I have no clue. This is such a weird market. And also, quickly, just to cover where I was at one point, you can see the portfolio hits 8,642 in the morning on December 14th, which is about, what is that, $60 higher than we currently sit. So at one point we were up 5,700, or Jesus, $576 at one point. So at one point we were almost at $600 of profit, which is wild. And of course we gave that back, but you can't get too greedy. I mean, seriously, I would be content if we just made $50 a week, you know. So this is crazy, and I'm very happy with this, and very proud of it. So hopefully we see this continue. I've been saying that for like the past 4 portfolio updates, and every single time it has somehow managed to continue upwards, and I have no idea how long this can possibly go on for. We've been getting nothing but good data though, and the Fed even announced rate cuts coming soon this week. And we had some good CPI, or was it CPI? I think it was CPI, come out this week. And that is actually the reason for this crazy jump, was the Fed basically saying we're done increasing rates and we're going to start cutting next year. Because that speech, or rather the vote decision came out at 2 p.m. Powell started speaking at 2:30, and my entire portfolio just ripped after that. And yeah, so that's what triggers this week's gain. Hopefully we see that continue into the end of the year. This is kind of a Santa Claus rally, which is awesome. But yeah. Come join me in the next video to see if this rally continues. If I continue to somehow make this much money, it's getting ridiculous. We'll have to see. So yeah, jump on the next video to see that. Otherwise, I hope to see you in the next video. Thank Thank you for watching.